good, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss.Ericka B, and I'm back with another video. This is going to be a serious topic. Basically going to be a story time. I'm going to tell you about my life and what I've been through and all the heartaches and pains that I had to go through to get to where I am today, which is in a good place. I want to thank you to all the subscribers that subscribe to me. I want to thank y'all and thank you for all the people that's about to subscribe to me. So, subscribe to your girl. All right, so here we go. My life was pretty normal in the beginning. My mom was 37 when she had me. My dad was 33. They both have good working jobs. My mom worked for the county. My dad worked for Blue Shuttle. So they both have income coming in. My life was good. Like, I had a good life up till I was about 6, 7, that I can remember. 6, 7, that's when it started going downhill. My mom and dad are drug addicts. I'm not scared to tell anyone because everyone probably has a drug addict in their family. My mom and dad were drug addicts. And I went to go stay with my aunt on my dad's side for a while. And it was so much hell living with my aunt. And I don't even call that dude my uncle because he's not an uncle to me. But my aunt was just not the best caretaker, as per se. I'm not going to say anything mean. Not the best caretaker. Because me and my cousins were living with them at the time, and she would babysit us or whatever. And, we would just do regular kid shit. Kids get into shit, and kids are trying to find their way, and kids don't know any better, so you can't really fault them for doing stuff. And like, we would do stuff wrong one time and would get the shit beat out of us. Like, the shit beat out of us. And it just, everybody has a dysfunctional family. I don't care what nobody say. Everybody has a dysfunctional family. My family was extremely dysfunctional. So me and my cousin, we would get beat all the time for doing kid shit, just doing simple shit. And then one day, sorry guys if I get quiet. And then one day, I don't know why, he would pick me. But this person that was supposed to protect me, in a sense, didn't protect me from the one person that you would never think would do something to a child like that. I'm sorry. So, this dude, my aunt's husband, he's not living no more, thank God. But her late husband basically SA'd me when I was a kid. Basically, I can't even say the word because I know YouTube, but basically did some things that are not supposed to be done to a child. And this started around 9 and ended when I was 11. And he ended up taking my innocence away from me. And I'm still trying to get over that. And I'll be 30 years old this year, and I'm still trying to get over it. And it's hard. And, it was crazy because I'm like, why me? Why? And as soon as I turned 11, my sister came and got me. And I thanked her for that. I thanked her up until the point we didn't talk anymore. I thanked her for that. And then she brought the assault and brought the trauma back up, and that's why I don't talk to her no more, because she knew how much that would hurt me. And yeah, I just gotta go watch that video why I don't talk to my sister no more. But my sister came and got me when I was 11. I thanked her for it. I had a really good life, with my sister. My sister came and got me. I didn't have to go to the foster care system. I didn't have to be in the system, and I thanked her for that. I got to stay with my nieces and my nephew, and we had a pretty good life, even though my nieces and my nephew be like, why is she here? It's supposed to be us. But at the end of the day, they just end up like, okay, her mom and dad are not right now. And so that's why she's here with us. And I had a really good life. When my sister came and got me, and then my mom and dad end up getting clean. And then they end up moving in with my sister. So all of us were living with my sister. We were all under one roof. And it just fast forward to about like 13, 14. I had met this boy, and and we had did some things. I thought I was in love. Oh my God, I thought I was in love at 14 years old. And end up getting pregnant. And I end up getting an abortion. I was too young to have a kid. I wanted to enjoy my life. So yeah, I ended up getting an abortion, even though he was mad. But still, I was like, okay, look, dude, like, I'm 14 and you're 16, and you got 2 more years of high school, and then you're off to college, and I'm still going to be in school. So I was like, I want to have my life. And so we end up breaking up after that because I got the abortion. And so I want to say when I turned about 16 years old, I remember I was at a fair, and I was with my friends. Well, I'm not friends with them today, but I was with my friends, and I had met this boy. We're going to call him Dante. I had met Dante. And Dante was real nice, real sweet, real kind, real gentle. He was adopted into a military family that the mother and father already had twins, but I guess they couldn't have another child. So they adopted Dante. Okay, cool. And so at the beginning, I was 16 and Dante was 19. So he was 3 years older than me. And everything was good, everything was sweet. You know, we were sexually active, and I ended up getting pregnant like a couple months into knowing him, basically. And I know y'all probably like, oh, that's fast. I was a teenager at the time. Everything moves fast when you're a teenager. And I ended up getting pregnant. I ended up losing it before I even showed, or I ended up losing it or whatever. And that kind of sent me in a whirlwind, because I'm like, damn, did this happen because I got an abortion last time, or did it just happen because God didn't want me to have a child right now? I'm too young. Those were the things that was going through my mind. And so we were together, me and Dante were together for about, I want to say like 3 years. Yeah, we were together for 3 years. No, we were together for two. We were together for two. And everything was fine. Everything was peachy. He was sad. I was sad. We got over it. Ended up doing some drugs together. With him, it was the first time I did shrooms. I would never do that shit again. And I know I used to drink all the time to try to numb the pain of losing a child, even though I was so entirely young. And that's when I turned 18. I was still living with my sister, and we were on and off. Me and Dante were on and off at this time, because I didn't know what I wanted. I was like, hey, like, you're a grown man. I'm a teenage girl, and I don't know what I want. Like, I don't know if I want to go to college out of state or college in state. Like, I'm still trying to figure this out. So we end up going on and off, on and off. And then we had got back together, and it was about homecoming, and I had just got my first job. I got my first check, so I was pretty excited, because I was like, hey, I can buy my homecoming ticket, I can buy my dress, I don't need my sister to pay for nothing. And he had picked me up one day because I was on his phone bill. And this is when we didn't have unlimited everything. This is when you had to pay for minutes. You had to wait till after 9 to talk for free. Everybody know them days. But I had went over my minutes, because I was calling jobs to see, if I can get a job, and to check on jobs and stuff like that. And I finally got one. So he was like, oh, you need to pay me. And I'm like, pay you what? When you told me you was going to take care of the cell phone bill until I got my big check. Which his check was a little check. I was like, okay. I'm thinking in my head, like, okay. And he was like, well, you need to give me, like, I think he said like $75. I'm like, dude, like, I have to pay for my homecoming dress. I have to pay for my homecoming ticket. Like, come on, dude. Like, come on. Like, let me be a teenager. Let me be a teenager. Don't let me be an adult. Let me be a teenager. You the one that wanted me on your phone playing. I didn't want this stupid phone. I was cool with you buying minutes and shit. Like, I was cool with that. With you, the one that wanted to put me on your phone, on your plan. So, and he was with high ass Verizon at that. So, Dante had went right around the corner from my house. He had pulled into a church driveway, and he was like, get out. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Get out? Where am I supposed to go? Oh, you can go home. I'm like, okay, cool. So then that's when I get out the car. And that's when he got out the car. And I was like, what are you doing? Why are you following me? And he was like, I need my money. Give me money for the bill. So that's when it started pouring down raining. I mean, it started raining like cats and dogs outside. And I had my purse, and I was holding on to my purse like really tight, but he's stronger than me, so he got my purse and got it back in the car. I was like, no, nigga, I was stupid. Because I was like, no, ninja, like, you're not about to take my wallet. And I worked hard for that money. I worked hard, you know what I'm saying, for that week and a half on my check. I was like, no, you're not about to take my money. So I did something real stupid. I got on the top of his hood. And instead of him being like, get the F off my car, get the F off my car, he was gonna go ahead and drive with me on the hood of his car. Which I was stupid for getting on the hood of his car in the first place. But at the end of the day, nigga, put it in your mind, don't drive off. She's on the hood of your car, call the police or do anything. So that's when he driving, like I'm holding on to dear life to his windshield wipers. And that's when like it's like going downhill. And that's when he he hit his brakes like really hard. And I end up falling off, end up rolling down the hill. Thank God I did not hit my head. Thank God. But I end up rolling down the hill. So that's when, after I rolled off the car or whatever, he swerves around and drives off. So I get up. I'm in pain on my right side. Like, it made no sense how much pain I was in. I was in so much pain. And I was walking in the rain and I was just yelling, somebody help, somebody help me, somebody help me, somebody help me. And that's when he had came back around and he was like, get in the car, get in the car. And I was like, no, I'm not getting in the car with you. Like, nigga, like, my whole side killing me. I'm not getting in the car with you. I'll get in the car with somebody else. Like, I'm not getting in the car with you. So that's what he's like, get in the car, get in the car. I'm taking you home, get in the car. My dumb self got back in the car, but he drove me home. And that's when I think I had called my nephew, or I think I had went in the house. My nephew was home, and my nephew was like, what's wrong with you? Because he had seen like he had came out, and I think he was in the kitchen or something. He was like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, this nigga then had me on the hood of his car. Even though I was wrong, I had to be on the hood of his car. He gonna slam on his brake real fast, and now my whole right side is killing me right now. And he took all my money. So I was like, tell him to leave. Tell him to leave. I can't face him right now. Tell him to leave. So that's when my nephew come to the door. My nephew was like, hey, I don't think you want to be here when her brother get here, because her brother get here, it's going to be a different story. Me and my nephew are teenagers at the time when this happened. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, I don't think when my uncle get here, I don't think you want to be here when he get here. So that's when he get my nephew all my money back. He was like, tell her I'm sorry, woody woody woo, blah blah blah. Didn't talk to him after that. I was like, man, fuck him. Like, man, after that, like, I ain't talked to him for a good, I think, like 6-7 months. And then that's when I moved closer to where he lived. And he had seen me one day out. And he's like, oh, you live down here now? What are you doing down here? And I was like, I live down here. What are you talking about? So then that's when we ended up rekindling stuff. Rekindling. Dumbass. And that's when I was like, okay. But then that's when he had came to the realization. He was like, this is not good for the both of us. I was like, yeah, you right. So then we end up stopped talking completely. He ended up moving. So, but we did have sex one last time though. And right before graduation, I want to say, I think like a week and a half before my graduation, and I had took a pregnancy test. I'm like, something don't feel right. And it came positive, and I'm like, oh shit, like this nigga gonna be the dad. Like, oh my God. So I go through with the graduation. I didn't tell nobody. I think the only person I knew was my mom, and I didn't tell nobody else. And then that's when I want to say like a week after my graduation, that's when I started having some spotting, and that's when I ended up going to the hospital, and they couldn't find a heartbeat. So I was pretty upset. But then they end up putting me on this medicine to help extract the fetus or whatever, but everything didn't get out, so I had to get a DNC done. And they ended up giving me some pain pills, Percocet to be exact. And for good, it made me feel good. It numbed me. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. It felt good. And I want to say it didn't start getting out of control until my grandma passed away. That's when everything just spiraled, because my mom and dad they were clean for a minute, and then they end up getting back into their drug habit. And then it was just a mess. That I was in my own drug habit, so it was like everybody was in their own drug habit. And I told myself I was never gonna be like my parents. I told myself, I was like, when I have kids, I'm gonna get my kids the best life. I don't want to be like my parents. And then I end up being like my parents with having that addiction. So I want to say about 2012, 2013, that's when it started getting worse. And that's when I started basically doctor shopping, going to different hospitals. All the Virginia hospitals cut me off. That's why I started going to DC and Maryland to get my pills, and they were prescribing them like back to back for me. And that's when I had tried to get clean. Well, I got clean in 2017, and then I ended up relapsing again because my insurance had lapsed. My insurance had ran out or whatever, so I ended up relapsing again for like a couple months, and then I got clean again in 2018. And then my insurance ended up going off again, so I ended up getting back on pain pills again. And I want to say in 2019, that's when I was like, look, this is the last time, third time the charm, like this has to work. And that's when it was like, oh, you're eligible for Medicaid because Virginia passed the law. And I'm like, oh, word? So I got on Medicaid, and your girl been clean ever since 2019. So it'll be 2 years that I've been clean, 2.5 years that I've been clean. But last year was a shit show. And then the unthinkable happened. Last year I was a year clean, and I found out that I was pregnant. And I was like, thank you, God. Because I've been clean for a year. Me and my husband's been trying, and it was just a blessing all around. And then once it came to about July, that's when my whole world changed. That's when I experienced more trauma. And it's crazy because I was basically supposed to be on vacation. We were supposed to be on vacation, me and my husband. We were supposed to be on a baby moon. Show off pictures, take pictures of my belly and all that other stuff. And that's when the first day of the start of my vacation, that's when the unthinkable happened. That's when my water had broke. And I was so scared. Because I was like, it's too early. I was only 21 weeks at the time. I had just turned 21 weeks. And I was like, it's too early. And I went to the hospital. That was my first instinct, was to go to the hospital. So I called a lift, went to the hospital. They transferred me to another hospital. My husband wasn't with me at the time. He was out. And he beat me to the other hospital that it was transferring me to. He actually beat me there. And he was there, and I was down in the triage, and he was triaging me. You know, pregnant people get triaged faster than anybody else. So they was doing that, but they took me to the women's side of the hospital, because the hospital where they took me out was big, because it had the women's hospital and then it has the regular hospital. So they took me to the women's side of the hospital, and that's when they had did a test to see if it was amniotic fluid or not. And every time that they did this thing, like a pap smear, just a whole bunch of fluid would rush out. I told myself I was gonna cry because I'd done enough crying. But the test did come back that it was amniotic fluid, and there was like, basically there's nothing that we can do. I need a minute. So basically they said it's nothing that they could do. They just gotta wait on my body, see what my body does. And basically I can go into labor in a couple hours or a couple days. They don't know. And he was like, we're just gonna watch you. So I was on a labor and delivery floor, I want to say for about a good 2 hours. They had did a sonogram down in triage. And she looked so perfect. And I went upstairs to labor and delivery. That's when they had me in labor and delivery. And they were just watching me just to see what my body does. And they had to do all the tests. And they kept going up there and fluid kept coming out. And they thought it was a hot leak, that it will resolve on its own. So they were just watching me. And then I'm gonna say like 12 hours. That's when they was like, okay, you're not progressing. You're still, I think I was at like 4 centimeters. And it was like, you're still at 4 centimeters. We're gonna take you to the high risk floor. So that's when I went to the high risk floor. Everything was good. Everything was perfect. I felt her move. I was talking to her. So that's when we was on the high risk floor. And everything was good. I was talking to her. Everything was fine. No more liquid that came out. Everything was good. And I want to say about that 12 hour that I was on that floor. That's when I had to go to the bathroom. I'm so sorry, guys. That's when the nurse had came in. And she was like, do you need anything? And I told her I had to go to the bathroom. And I told her I had to go to the bathroom. And that's when I went to the bathroom in a bedpan because they didn't want me to get out of bed and put pressure on my cervix. So I went to the bathroom in a bedpan and I told the nurse, I can't pee while you're at me. So she went outside my room. And it was no more than about 10 seconds. And I was like, I'm done. And I yelled and said, I'm done. And that's when she took the bedpan. And she was like, Ericka, do you know you're bleeding? I was like, no. Everything was good. I haven't felt nothing. No fluid come out, no nothing. And she was moving and everything. And that's when they had got the high-risk doctor on call. And she came in and she wanted to check my cervix. And she was like, you're hemorrhaging. You're hemorrhaging. You're hemorrhaging a lot. She was like, we gotta get her down on the labor and delivery floor again. So that's when I go back down on the labor and delivery floor. And they did a sonogram. And she was in that position. She was head down. And I was like, no. It just has to work. The whole time I was in a hospital bed, I was just praying and praying. And then my mom and my dad was like, keep us updated on everything. And I told them what had happened. And I told my mom, I said, I've been bleeding a lot. And the whole time the reason I was bleeding out was because my placenta tore from my wall. And that's when they did the sonogram. She was head down. And I was like, no. So the nurse was like, drink a lot of water. Because the baby drinks the amniotic fluid. And maybe you have a high leak. And the nurse prayed with me. She prayed. So I'm chugging down water. I'm chugging. I never drank so much water in my life. And that's when they came in and did another ultrasound like a couple hours later. Because my bleeding stopped. Everything just stopped. And then even the doctors were about to like, what the hell is going on? And so when they checked her and see that she was head down, she had no fluid. No fluid, but her heart was still going. And that's what they did, another ultrasound a couple of hours later, just to check her heartbeat, because she didn't have no fluid around her. And I didn't see that flickering of her heartbeat. So they had got another doctor to see if they could find it. And another doctor came in. Another doctor was like, I can't find it. And then I guess the superintendent or somebody over there came in. And she did the ultrasound. And they was like, sorry, Miss Brundage, we're so sorry for your loss. But we don't see a heartbeat. When I tell y'all, I let out a blood curdling scream. I swear the whole labor and delivery floor hurt me. And then that's when I had called my mom and my dad and told them. And my mom was like, I'm on my way up there. Fuck, they gotta say. Because COVID was high at the time, so that's when they was like, man, F what they gotta say. I'm on my way up there. And she was like, and she told my dad to bring her up where I was. And that's when I had called my husband, because my husband wasn't there. And my husband was like, what? And that's like the second time I didn't see my husband cry. And he was so heartbroken, because that was his little girl. And that's when my husband had got there first. And me and my husband just cried. Yeah, we just cried. And that's when my mom got there. And I just kept saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I kept apologizing. I just kept saying, I'm sorry. Mom was like, it's nothing that you could have did. So that's when they had to put something up my gooch to make me induce me. They gave me epidural. And she was born 15 ounces. And I never, ever seen nurses and doctors cry. I had never seen nurses and doctors cry. But they're human too, so they cry with me. And after I delivered her, they were like, do you want to hold her? scared to hold my child. And she was so perfect. Looked nothing like me. Was everything like a father. But I ended up going through that trauma. And I thought that would have me spiraling down back into my addiction. But it didn't. Did I want to take my life? I did. Yes, I was very suicidal. Very. Well, I said, she's not here, why am I here? And I know my mom and my dad and my husband always watched me because I suffer from anxiety and depression. So they always watched me. Always make sure I was good. Always make sure I ate. But my mom knew what I was going through. And I had her to talk to. Because she had lost my sister. So, she had lost my sister before I was born. And so she knew what it was like to lose a child. And I stopped taking my medicine. I stopped taking my Suboxone while I was on Subutex. I stopped taking that. I stopped taking my Suboxone. They switched me back to Suboxone. I stopped taking that. That meant after I'm going back to pills. Like, I just lost a child. Like, no. So, that's when I was like, you gotta be strong. You gotta get through it. It's going to be hard and it's going to be challenging. And you're going to have some days where you feel like you do not want to be here. But just remember that she's looking down on you and you did all that you could do. You did the right thing by going to the hospital when your water broke. You did the right thing. You didn't wait. So she was like, Mom, I was like, give yourself some credit. And I thought that was going to spiral me back down to my addiction, but it didn't. But I did, you know, it was a hard time through that grieving process. Because everybody just kept saying, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm so sorry for your loss. It was so many people saying it. I got tired of hearing it. I got tired of hearing it. I remember I snapped at my doctor one time. I was like, man, please just be quiet. Please don't say that. Like, I'm tired of hearing it. I'm hearing it from everybody. So, that's when everything went back to normal. Was sort of kind of normal. And then that's when the whole thing with my sister happened. And that's why me and her don't talk. You know, watch the video to figure out. But it was just crazy. But by the greatness of God, I've been clean. I've been clean for almost 3 years. And I'm expecting now. So, I just want to say thank y'all for listening to my story. Thank y'all so much. Even though I cried through most of it, you just understand that everybody goes through something in their life. Nobody is exempt from anything. You don't know the next trauma from the next trauma somebody had. No trauma is bigger than the next person's trauma. And that's what I've learned from being SA to being DV and to losing my child. It's crazy, but it's okay. I'm okay. And yeah, I still got my good and my bad days, but I'm okay. This is her around my neck. I have her ashes in here. And yeah, I just want to say thank y'all for listening to my story. I know this video is long, but I wanted to give y'all the whole gist of my story and my traumas. And anyone, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I thank y'all. Love you. Peace.